Hello everybody, welcome back to Paragon Talk 2099. We're here with your host, me, Matt Amberg. But for real, welcome to a very special Hitplay. So if you listen to the podcast, which I highly recommend you do, there should be a link somewhere below, I don't know. You may have heard that a few weeks back, end of January, I was invited out to North Carolina to go to Epic Game Studios to get some hands-on time with Paragon and to talk about the community aspect of the game with the developers. And it was great. It was a ton of fun. I did go over a little bit of it in the podcast, but there was some stuff I couldn't talk about, and now you get to actually see what I got to play. So Paragon is Epic Games MOBA. We've talked about that. It's coming out for PC, PS4. They're going to have crossplay. I actually didn't get a chance to play the PS4 version, so everything you're seeing here is from the PC. All of the PC capturing actually came straight from Epic, so I didn't. There was nothing special about it. It was just capture right from the game. So cool. So the character you're going to see, I think the majority of here is Sparrow. I did play a couple of other characters, but I am terrible at video games, and MOBAs are no different. But what I can tell you is that even though I'm not good, and even though you can get frustrated, Epic set this up in such a way that they laid a bedrock, and for me that was a big deal. I think one of the key things that we've talked about in the past is MOBAs. The community is not the beacon that you want, and Epic is trying to get around that. And how they're doing that is they're having these community events, and they're inviting content creators, they're inviting people that have MOBA background, they're inviting Epic fans, they're inviting a swath of people from all walks of life to come and play this game, and not only give them feedback on the game itself, which they're getting plenty of. They've got alpha forums going on, and those are plenty of stuff to talk about in there. But they wanted to get that hands-on, that one-on-one time while people are playing, while people are having it fresh in their mind, while they're surrounded by like-minded people, to maybe play off some of those ideas. And so we actually did get to do that. We got to sit around with a bunch of those guys, and so huge shout out, to KL, Steve, Wes, just everybody. You guys were amazing, and it was fun to talk to you, and all of the coaches that were there that were kind of walking us through as we played for the few of us that actually, I guess the majority of us hadn't actually played Paragon, so we actually had coaches on the mic with us, kind of similar like if you've ever been to PAX and they have somebody that tells you how the game plays. So we had one of those people, and they were all fantastic. A couple of them were comp QA players. Some of them were supporter. They actually work on Fortnite. So big variety, and it was great. It was fun, and what ultimately came out of it is what you're seeing before you. This is an early alpha gameplay, so this isn't by any means the end, but it looks beautiful. It plays strong. And in this video, like I said, you're going to see Sparrow. Sparrow is she's a strong support type character, uses bow and arrow, and I like my support characters. I picked her because she does have a little more attack speed to her than some of the other characters that were support based, and I need a good combination of that. Some of the other things you'll see in this video are the upgrades. Upgrades are great. The way it goes is you, as you're playing, you'll have your live update, so your Q, your E, your W, all your main attacks there, and you can level those up with a you can actually, you'll see a screen pop up. You can hold down the control button on the left side, and the screen pops up, and then you just press the button you want to upgrade. The other thing you can do is you don't even have to wait for that screen to pop up, which is something that we found out later on in the day. You can actually just press control and hit that button, and it will immediately upgrade that skill for you, because the window does take like a 2-second pause to pop. The other thing you'll see some more of the cards. Those cards are essentially, if you've for anybody who's played MOBAs, you know, which I'm sure a lot of you have, especially if you're watching this video. The cards act similarly to like how you'd back to the start at League of Legends, where you'd pick your items. So that's what the cards do. The cool thing about the cards, and what you won't see in this video, is that those cards are curated before the game, so you know what's in your own deck. And as you play, you'll unlock more cards, which allows you to you know, change up your deck and gives you a little deeper play style and strategy, especially if you know the team you're playing. So I'm not a League guy, so I don't really know if that's like I don't feel like that's a one-to-one. I feel like with League you kind of have builds that you kind of know about ahead of time, and maybe it is. Maybe it's closer to one-to-one than I'm thinking. I don't know. But the cards were very cool. You had different rarities of cards, and there's a couple different flavors, and you can, throughout the game with that deck, you can upgrade your cards, and there are actually... So there are sets of cards that are specific to upgrading a type of card. So you'll have like a card that'll give you a boost in mana, and then you can actually upgrade that card, but you have to have the upgrade card that upgrades the mana. So you can actually back yourself into corners if you don't have paired cards, and that's something we did actually. A couple people brought up to Epic, and they did say that that's something on their roadmap. So. Very cool. The gameplay itself, it feels great, and as somebody who is terrified of that bad community, of and then on top of that the lack of accessibility and having to actually sit down and really learn MOBAs, I think this game does something special, and I think they're listening to the community on that, and that's a big part of it, where I feel like the accessibility of this game and the way that they're building out the card system, it makes more sense to people who do not mainline MOBAs. Because you can spend your time in the game feeling out the menu system, looking at those cards, figuring out what you kind of want your cards to look like, and go and try it and play it. Whereas with League, I feel like, personally, there's a lot of... there's an investment in research. And while you're still getting that same investment, I don't feel like I ever have the time to look it up like while I'm playing the game. You just kind of need to know, because you got to get right back into that, into the field. You know, you need to get back up and get to those lanes. So I do love this. And while you'll still run into that situation where you're kind of flipping through cards, I have a feeling, like, to me, it feels better because I have an idea of what's in the deck. So I don't have to focus on what does each thing do. I just kind of have to learn them enough to go, oh yeah, I recognize I want to replace this older card that isn't useful at this level anymore with a newer card. And I know, like, I can build that out. So that's pretty great. You know, Epic is going out of their way to work with the community on this game, and they're doing it in such a way that with the forums, with these community events, I feel like Epic is truly trying something new. But with the addition of such a strong development rapport with the community, they're taking to heart what everybody's saying. They're trying to parse it out into ways that make sense for their vision. And they're helping people understand what that vision is. And I personally, I love that. And because of that, I want to play the game. And that's something that I can't say about any other MOBA, which is a big reason why I don't play them. Maybe that's me. I could admit that. You know, I don't sit down and read every little thing that Riot has to say, or that Blizzard has to say, or what have you. And for sure, you know, Epic brought me out and gave me this game to play. But I've gone on my own volition and played those other MOBAs, and nothing drew me into them. Nothing kept me going. Nothing made me want to stay. And I'm hoping that with all these videos that are coming out from these community events, that everybody's going to see that Epic brought the right people to these events to lay down a bedrock, to put down a solid community of like-minded gamers, like-minded content creators, like-minded fans of fantasy, like-minded people to create a solid, wonderful community and bring together a fantastic game. And right now, that game is solid in an alpha state. You can see it in the screen. It feels like a MOBA. It plays like a MOBA. It is a MOBA. Yeah, and overall, you know, in closing, I guess, what I just want to say is keep your eye on Paragon. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you take some time, check out zerohitpoints.com and check out Paragon. And hey, have a great rest of your life.